Welcome to Frankfort, Kentucky. Today we're going to be talking about a pro wrestling legend that sadly passed away way too early. Now we're at Frankfort Cemetery, and today I'm going to tell you the story about Miss Elizabeth, and we're going to visit her final resting place. Now if you were a kid back in the 80s or 90s, there was probably no bigger thing on television than professional wrestling. We pretty much all knew Hulk Hogan and all the others, and especially Macho Man Randy Savage, who's going to have a big part in this video right here, because we're going to be talking about Miss Elizabeth. She was a very big star in the wrestling circuit, and she was born Elizabeth Ann Hewlett in 1960 here in Frankfort, Kentucky. Now, she met Randy Macho Man Savage when she was working at a gym, and the two of them ended up getting married in 1984. The next year, Randy Savage started working for the WWF at the time. Now it's called WWE. And he started working for them in 1985. And there was a wrestling angle where managers competed to offer their services to Macho Man. And an unknown woman came to the ring who was Savage's wife. And she went by the name Miss Elizabeth. Now, obviously, at the time, nobody knew who she was. But she ended up becoming a big star in the wrestling world. And her popularity grew, and she became an international star. I mean, pretty much everybody at the time knew who she was. Miss Elizabeth was active in the World Wrestling Federation from 1985 to 1992, and then she went to World Championship Wrestling, which they called WCW, and she was over there from 1996 to 2000. In 1999, she started managing another wrestler by the name of Lex Luger, and the two of them started seeing each other. And when she left WCW in 2000, she started working at a gym in Marietta, Georgia. And that gym was owned by Lex Luger at the time, and the two of them lived together in a townhouse not too far away. Now, the townhouse that they shared was up for sale not too long ago, so I'll insert a couple pictures of that home on this video. So if you see these pictures, this is where the two of them shared their home. Now, it was in this home that on May 1st, 2003, Lex Luger called 911 to report that Elizabeth was not breathing, and he attempted CPR, but she did not respond to the CPR. Medics rushed her to a nearby hospital where she was pronounced dead at the age of only 42 years old. Now, the medical examiner listed her death as acute toxicity from a mix of painkillers and alcohol, and her death was officially ruled an accident. Now, at the time, she was one of the biggest stars in the wrestling world, at least as far as females, because she worked with Randy Savage, Lex Luger, Hulk Hogan. She worked with some of the biggest names in the business, and she was one of the most popular characters in professional wrestling at the time. So she was laid to rest just over here. Elizabeth Ann Hewlett. November 19th, 1960 to May 1st, 2003. Looks like she's buried beside her mother, Mary Ann. But a pretty sad and tragic tale of somebody who passed away way too young. And that is a very common theme amongst people in professional wrestling. A lot of the big stars from back in the day, and especially some of the more current stars, there have been a lot of tragic deaths, when you think about painkiller addiction, drug abuse, heart disease, just the things that these people have to do just to stay at the top of their game. A lot of people say that wrestling is fake, and, I can't really say one way or the other, but these people do put their bodies on the line. They get a huge, wide variety of injuries, and they treat those injuries a lot of times with painkillers, drugs, and some of them fall into deep addictions, which is really, really sad. But rest in peace to Miss Elizabeth. But that's all I have for you for today from Frankfort, Kentucky. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video. Take care.